you spoke about, I think there are two words that were interesting that you spoke about. You spoke about racism, and you also said the word reconciliation. Why was it important for you to open up, the community in your homes to non-Aboriginal peoples? What was very important about that?
That was to create an understanding that some of the stereotypes that the stereotypes that we encounter is that like we're just alcoholics, we're on welfare, and we don't do anything. We just be. So by having these non-Aboriginal people come up, we want to show them that that's not the case. It's not who we are. There's people that say, if living is so tough in the north, in the remote north, then why not move? Well, we could do that, but we choose not to. It's our home. That's where we were born. That's where our grandparents are buried. And we're just connected with the land and the water. And so we hunt and fish, and that's how we provide for ourselves. We can't go to the store to go buy food. And it's just beautiful up north, back home. We get thirsty. Well, we don't get thirsty. We just go to the lake. The water is clean, and we plan to keep it that way.
So perhaps you can walk us through the process. When these non-Aboriginals land, get off the plane. Did you sense or did you hear that they had certain misconceptions about what they would experience in your community, or do you think they were ready? What was it like?
When we put the call out, we just said keep an open mind. And every time they came, there was always a lot of us at the airport to greet them, to welcome them to our home. So as soon as they get off that plane, they know that they're safe. They know that they're welcome. Right up until they get on that plane again to leave. Most of the time they don't want to.
Sorry, they were crying?
They'll be crying by the time they leave, end of the week. Just kidding. Because they want to stay.
And how did that make you feel, seeing people crying and not wanting to leave your community?
It just touched me, and they'll be in our hearts forever.
And what about you?
In the beginning, everybody was kind of like hesitant, and not everybody, but so-and-so groups here and there, and people would tell us like, why are you guys doing that? You guys are crazy. Like, why are you bringing people here? Like, and people were like scared, like they didn't trust, they thought they'd get hurt, or one of their kids will get hurt somehow, or they didn't want anything to happen. And because they were really, they kept to themselves, I guess. And plus they thought we wouldn't be able to pull it off, and like, you guys are gonna do all this, and you guys, what if it blows up in your guys' face, and what's gonna happen to the community, and what's that gonna look like on us if you guys don't do it and it blows up and nobody gets off that plane? What are you guys gonna do then? And it was kind of scary, and like kind of started to get at me too. I was like, I don't know, do you think we can do it? And we just kept pushing ourselves, and we have to do it, we can do it. We worked really hard and just did the best we can, and it was so awesome when we had like 50 people wanting to come, and we didn't expect that. And just to show like when I was going to school before I had my baby, I would get like these remarks, like getting put downs of just because I'm an Aboriginal and whatever, and I kind of started to kind of regret, like I used to kind of hate that I was Native because I moved around lots growing up. And it was through this event where I actually really found that I love my home. It kind of opened my eyes too. And like now I'm just so proud of my home. Like it's my home, and it made me open my own eyes to what we have there. And now it's like, why I don't even want to move there out of Big Road. And I'm just really blessed.
So I think you raise an important point here, is that you spoke about the stereotypes about Aboriginal peoples among non-Aboriginals, but you also spoke about the fact that many Aboriginals take on those stereotypes and start to believe them. And also, the people in the community started to doubt, your young people, how will you be able to make such a difference or such an impact, have such an impact on the community? How did you find the strength to overcome those barriers, those stereotypes, and to achieve what you were able to achieve?
I think we just had to, once we started to actually believe in our own selves, that's what pushed us. Once we actually had to take it upon ourselves to believe in ourselves, and it didn't matter what anybody said after that. Like after that, once we had that, we're like, okay, who cares what they say? We can do it. We're gonna do it, and we just kept right on going.
How did it feel once you achieved, after the first gathering? How did you feel?
It was like we were like on a high for like weeks, then we crashed. But I don't regret at all doing all this the past couple of years.
And then, what's also interesting is that when you started planning for the second, and I guess there were more than two, there was another one, a third one, you were able to attract some pretty heavy names to your community. Perhaps you can drop a few names and tell us who you who decided to stop by.
The Countess of Wessex. Yeah, she came on we were surprised too. We were actually in Toronto. I was in Toronto, right? David Onley was, he wanted to meet with us. He dropped us with a bomb saying, oh yeah, the Countess of Wessex wants to come visit you guys. We're like, oh, okay. We're like, okay, she can come. Then we called we was like, does the chief have your support? He's like, yeah, he always supports us. He's like, he'll say okay. We didn't even ask him yet. But when we called him, he's like, yeah, bring her. Go ahead, she can come visit.
So you were running the show.
Yeah.
And I believe also there was a premier that showed up.
Yeah.
Which premier?
Kathleen Wynne came up too. Yeah, and
that's pretty impressive. Congratulations. So when the community saw, that first it was the second time that you pulled it off really well, and that these notable Canadians and people from abroad were showing up, what did they learn about the power of young people to affect change?
People were start to like. It was after the first event, everybody was like, oh, you guys did it, and they started to kind of see what we were trying to do. Then, and plus it was our community members, like, are you guys going to do it again next year? Now they wanted to jump on board. We're like, I don't know, it was just this one time. But then we were getting calls that other people wanted to come, and so that's when we decided, okay, we'll do it again. And so when we had more community members jumping on board and more help, and the second one was like easier, and the third one, it was just like the whole community was just right in there. So in other words, you saw a transformation from when you started working, nobody believed, to at the end where everybody was involved. Mm-hmm. We even had like some of our own like council members. The chief was always like on our side, but there was some council members who were like, why are you guys letting them do that? It's gonna blow up anyway. Don't let them do this to the community. But afterwards, they kind of said like, "Oh, we're proud of you guys." It was really good to hear that. Very powerful. And I think one element, or I guess a central piece about the work that you were doing, was reconnecting with your Aboriginal traditions. Could you talk about that a bit?
With these events that we've been having, we've always made sure we feature the drum with us too. and that we're not going to be prejudiced to anything. We welcome the church to come pray too, come celebrate with us too. But we also had the drum there too, and what we wanted was to make harmony. We wanted harmony amongst everybody in our community. That we're not going to favor any one over the other.
So in other words, there was, I guess, some concerns about there has been concerns about the drums and certain elements of your traditional culture in your community, and that started to change?
Yeah.
Why was there such, I guess, discomfort around the drum, and what was the role of the church in that process?
It was assimilation. That our grandparents were taught that was evil, and that we shouldn't be doing that. So they believed it, and they carried that on with them too, to their kids, our children, our parents, and yeah.
So those are sort of some of the things that you would hear growing up, that the drum's evil, that...
Yeah, it was, that's what I guess that would be the legacy of residential school. Mm-hmm. And we're just breaking away from that.
And so now that you've actually had an opportunity to use the drum, what does the drum represent for you?
Heartbeat.
The heartbeat.
Can I just add, in the beginning when when some of the youth wanted to have the drum there, it was like a kind of like a fight, trying to, the elders were like getting mad. We don't do that, like, because there was rarely anyone that was following traditional, and some people were starting to pop up and that were following that, and so there were it wasn't that first event were we allowed to use the drum? Not in the beginning, right? But towards the end, was it? Yeah, and but it took I myself, I go to church. That's where I was raised, and I still do that. Like, but I don't hate if anybody wants to follow traditional. I know, like, I'm Aboriginal, and but that's just what I believe, and I tell, like, my friends that are traditional, and I tell them, like, I don't say anything to you guys. I don't bug anybody. I don't put anybody down, and I just like, if you respect my decision too. So they know that about me, and the church that I go to, it was them that had kind of stepped up and told, like it's if that's what's going to help them, why not let them? So once one church group stood up and the other ones couldn't say anything, so that's where we would have, like, when we would have circles too, our church group would let us go there too, but we would so it took that for, I think that how would I say it? I guess it took them in order to stand up, to not to be judgmental about anybody's belief and whatever, and that's when we were allowed afterwards.
Yeah.
And so and now there's more youth starting to wanting to go traditional, and, like, we encourage that if that's what's going to help them, then we tell them, go ahead. Yeah. That's what's going to help you.
Yeah. It's really fascinating to hear you say that you were not allowed to use the drum in your community in the 20th, 21st century. That's quite telling. That, many of us think that the legacy of the Indian residential schools and colonization is over, but you're living proof that there are still a lot of challenges that are there. Yet, would you say that the project has helped the community kind of embrace the traditions and create a spirit of acceptance of difference?
I've always been taught, like, growing up, not to like judge anybody's beliefs, and that's the same thing I tell with my kids too. And like my son too, he's interested in drumming, my little boy, and I encourage him. Like I bought him a drum, but I still go to church and he sees me and he still likes to. And I tell them, like, if you want to do that, then go ahead. Like, I'm not going to tell them not to.
Absolutely. So given your success, what message would you have for other young people like you across the country who are, thinking about making a difference, but are, concerned that they won't be able to do it, that they'll bring shame to the community, as you said? Is there a message that you'd like to share?
I was going to add, like, with our community, I think it was like they knew where we came from. Like, we had our own addictions and stuff. We were like right down in the gutter, and we got off the drugs, and it's been a couple of years for us now, and I think it was from all that, our lifestyle from before. They thought like why, like, them, like somebody like them, they're gonna do this, like. But if you just believe in yourself, like, you can do anything. And that's what I learned. Like, no matter how messed up my past was, I just had to accept my past and let it go and just believe in myself.
What I said before was, like, if you believe in something and you really want it, just go after it. And look good where it got us. We got a member from the royal family to come visit our reserve. Yeah.
So the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Just believe in yourself. Just keep working at it, and it doesn't hurt to laugh too. Whether it be at anybody else or yourself, laughter helps. It wouldn't have been possible without the help from Michaëlle Jean Foundation as well too. Big thank you, Miigwech.